Hello ladies. In this video, we're going to talk about women in the Bible, and not just any women, but strong, smart women who set an example of how we can demonstrate our power and still be godly. Before I actually read the Bible, I always thought that women were underrepresented and underrated in the Bible. And all the stories I knew were all about powerful men like Moses and Abraham and Daniel and Jesus. And I was under the impression that the Bible depicted women as just Jezebels or passive possessions who only followed their husbands and had no real opinions or influence. But as I looked into it, I found that there are quite a few examples in the Holy Scriptures of women who are strong and smart, such as Deborah. She was a prophet and a judge in Israel. She gave her guidance to people who asked her for her wisdom from under her palm tree called the Palm of Deborah. She was the only female judge in the Bible. She was a diplomat and she helped to settle disputes. She was also a military leader. The Canaanites' king Jabin oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Deborah was called as God's spokesperson. She acted to convince Barak, who was a military leader, to lead an army of 10,000 against the commander of the Canaanites, named Sisera. God sent a rainstorm causing the Canaanite armies to be defeated. Prior to this, Deborah prophesied that Sisera's ultimate defeat would come at the hands of a woman. After the defeat, Sisera fled to the house of another brave lady named Jill. She took him in and then strategically killed him in his sleep with a tent stake and a hammer. Don't you just love how the Holy Spirit filled Deborah with so many diverse gifts? And what's amazing too is that He fills us with amazing gifts. And we just have to recognize them and grow them. And I think the best part of Deborah's story is that she was confident enough to step up and lead at a time when there weren't a lot of female leaders. She just did what God led her to do and didn't let social norms stop her. Another smart, courageous woman in the Bible was Esther. Esther's name was originally Hadash. She was chosen as the queen of Persia after winning a beauty contest, but the king didn't know she was Jewish. In the story, her cousin learned about a plan to kill the king. Then she told the king about the plan to save his life. Later, she courageously risked her own life by approaching the king without warning to save her people. Then at a banquet, she bravely exposed the plans of a high-ranking vizier named Haman, who was planning to kill all of the Jewish people. Her act to expose Haman ultimately allowed the Jewish people to defeat him, because the king allowed for the people to defend themselves against the attack. And now there is a festival celebrated by Jewish people in honor of Haman's defeat and Esther's courage. And the book of Esther is read every year in honor of her bravery. God blessed her with wisdom, courage, and beauty, and she used those gifts to save her people. Next is Rahab. She was a Canaanite woman who lived in Jericho. She was an unlikely hero because she was a prostitute. She had 2 Israelite spies in her house from the king and his soldiers. To throw the soldiers off the trail, she lied to them about the spies' location. When the soldiers left, she negotiated the safety of her family with the spies. Then she helped the spies escape out of her window and out of the city wall. The spies told her to mark her window with a scarlet cord so that the Israelite army would spare her and her family in the attack against Jericho. Rahab is an example of a smart, strong woman in the Bible. She used her bravery and her cunning mind to outsmart the king and to ensure the safety of her family. She was a significant player in God's plan. not only for helping the Israelites in the defeat of the king's army, but Rahab is part of Jesus's lineage. Even more proof of the importance of stepping up if God calls us. And though she was a prostitute, she was God-fearing and believed that the land belonged to the Israelites because God had given it to them. And the last prominent woman we're going to talk about in this video is Mary Magdalene. Mary traveled with Jesus and supported him and his disciples in their mission or in their ministry. She witnessed Christ's crucifixion firsthand. She was there with John and Jesus' mother and was the first person to see Christ had been resurrected. Jesus personally appointed her to announce his resurrection. Mary Magdalene was a devoted follower of Christ. She was an integral part of Christ's work and an example of having the willingness to do whatever it takes when God calls us. All of these women have in common that they use their God-given wisdom and strength and character to fill the roles that God called them to fill. And they did it without hesitation. They were all challenged to take a leap of faith and to move outside their comfort zones. And most of them were called to leave their homes in order to execute the assignments from God. Ladies, we should all be inspired by these strong, powerful women